This September will mark 2 years since the body of Noah Presgrove was found on the side of a highway.
Noah Presgrove was 19 when a truck driver found him on a highway in Terrell, Oklahoma.
Tyler Hardy would remember the body's position with photographic clarity. Something about how it lay there felt fundamentally wrong. The pre-dawn humidity of September 4, 2023 pressed against the Oklahoma asphalt as Hardy tried to process what he was seeing.
Jumped down the road and I had a bunch of cars behind me, but it looked like somebody got hit, like somebody walking down the highway laying on the shoulder of the road.
It looks like somebody's laying in the road?
Like on the shoulder, like maybe they were walking and somebody hit them.
What disturbed him most wasn't just finding someone's dead body on the shoulder of U.S. Highway 81. It was the complete absence of explanation. Welcome to Timeless Mysteries. Please like and subscribe. Today we discuss the baffling death of 19-year-old Noah Presgrove. Was this a tragic accident or a small-town cover-up? You don't want to miss this.
Presgrove's body was found near Highway 81 in Jefferson County in September of 2023. Oklahoma Highway Patrol is investigating the death, but they are not investigating it as a murder.
It's hard to imagine a scene like this one. There was no glass fragments glittering in his headlights. No paint streaks marked the pavement. No tire marks carved into the earth or the asphalt. Just a boy lying on the side of the road, 19-year-old Noah Presgrove, wearing nothing but mismatched slip-on shoes. His white shorts were discovered intact in the travel lane. There was no blood, no tears, no sign of violent removal. The scene violated every principle of vehicle trauma Hardy had witnessed in his 20 years of driving these rural highways. The forensic incongruities would haunt Jefferson County Sheriff Jeremy Wilson for months. Here was catastrophic trauma without any of the signatures that should accompany it. The surrounding area showed no characteristic evidence of high-speed road contact. Minor scratches were found on the body, grass stains on the shoes, mud in the treads. These suggested movement through terrain, not impact with a vehicle. Most troubling was the clothing separation itself. Somebody had undressed this body, or this body had undressed itself. Neither explanation made sense given what else they were seeing. In death investigation, the concept of staged scenes occupies a particular corner of forensic psychology, the intersection where panic meets calculation, where killers attempt to rewrite physical reality. The Highway 81 crime scene exhibited all the hallmarks of staging, the body's placement just beyond the fog line, visible enough for discovery, but positioned to suggest a pedestrian strike.
His remains were in terrible shape, and Noah's cause of death is listed as multiple blunt force injuries, possibly from a vehicle strike.
The clothing separation, the preservation of slip-on footwear despite forces that evidence suggested should have removed them. Tyler Hardy's 5:43 a.m. call to dispatch captured the uncertainty. Awfully odd. A caller minutes later, I'm pretty sure there's somebody lying dead on the road. Neither witness could reconcile what they saw with the typical highway fatality patterns. By 6 a.m., law enforcement had established a perimeter. The body lay close enough to the travel lane that responding units blocked off traffic. The medical evidence would later indicate death had occurred at least 30 minutes prior, possibly longer. Deputies recovered fragments of a silver chain necklace, a partial tooth, strands of sandy blonde hair adhering to the asphalt. The distribution suggested impact, yet no corresponding vehicle evidence existed. Sheriff Wilson, 20 years in rural law enforcement, recognized the anomaly immediately. Pedestrian strikes leave signatures, headlight glass, mirror housing, paint transfer, fabric impressions in vehicle surfaces. This scene was sterile of such evidence. As he would later tell investigators, if you hit a deer, I don't care if it was a semi, there's always something. Jack Newton's arrival transformed the scene from procedural to personal. The 18-year-old had been driving to fish with his father when he recognized his best friend in the semi's headlights. I could see Noah's body, he would testify months later. His testimony carrying the dissociative quality common to traumatic recognition. Hardy intercepted the teenager before he can contaminate the scene, a small mercy in a morning absent of them. The identification was immediate, visceral, and would anchor the timeline. Noah Presgrove, last seen alive at 3:30 a.m., was confirmed dead by his best friend before 6:30 a.m. The autopsy performed on September 5th would reveal what investigators already suspected. This was no simple pedestrian strike. The medical examiner documented injuries consistent with tremendous force application, but inconsistent with typical vehicular trauma patterns. The specific medical findings pointed to either direct impact with a rigid surface, whiplash forces of extraordinary magnitude, or possibly falls from a significant height. What struck Dr. Banjari most was the absence of typical road rash, patterns that accompany high-speed vehicular impacts. Those create distinctive abrasion patterns, parallel scratches from road surfaces, fabric pattern transfers, gravel embedment. Noah's body showed only superficial scratches inconsistent with high-velocity road contact.
That this could have been an accident where he was hit and a vehicle took off, a hit and run, something like that.
Perhaps most significantly, the blood volume at the scene was minimal for such catastrophic injuries, suggesting death had occurred within 60 seconds of whatever precipitating event had taken place. The toxicology report revealed blood alcohol content of 0.014, nearly twice the legal limit, but no other substances. This level of intoxication would impair judgment and reaction time, but wouldn't prevent walking or basic motor function. The absence of defensive wounds on the hands and forearms suggests either surprise or rapid incapacitation. The medical examiner's conclusion, multiple blunt force injuries, manner undetermined, reflected the ambiguity. Without witness testimony or physical evidence, pathology alone couldn't discriminate between scenarios. The party Noah attended operated on the edge of Jefferson County's awareness, a 22nd birthday celebration that metastasized into something larger. The property outside Terrell, population 386, provided isolation for underage drinking and ATV racing. By September 3rd, attendance exceeded 40 individuals from Oklahoma and Texas. The social dynamics included overlapping romantic entanglements, territorial disputes common to rural youth gatherings, and the volatile mixture of alcohol and testosterone that transforms celebrations into potential tragedies. An ATV incident at 3 a.m. marked the evening's pivot point. Noah, driving a Polaris Ranger with multiple passengers, rolled the vehicle in the darkness. No serious injuries resulted, but the crash triggered what forensic psychologists term affective dysregulation, the emotional cascade following near-death experiences. Noah's immediate response included showering, removing evidence of the crash, changing clothes, borrowing white shorts after his were soiled, and exhibiting agitation inconsistent with simple embarrassment. Multiple witnesses reported his demeanor shifted from egregious to withdrawn, from the life of the party to someone desperate to leave. His departure at 3:30 a.m., wearing mismatched shoes, one his black Adidas, one his friend's Hey Dude, suggested either extreme intoxication or emotional distress, overriding normal attention to detail.
Noah was 19 and naked except for his shoes. 2 mismatched shoes. A pair of shorts was found several feet away, along with a metal chain, some of his teeth, and a clump of hair.
The Snapchat message at 3:41 a.m., well, Noah is missing, indicates his absence was noted within 11 minutes, yet no organized search commenced. This delay, termed bystander paralysis in group psychology, often occurs when responsibility diffuses across multiple potential actors. Everyone assumes someone else will act, and in that assumption, critical time evaporates. The 2-hour gap between Noah's departure and body discovery represents what investigators call the critical window. In it, Noah traveled approximately 1 mile from the party to the highway. The mechanism of travel, walking, riding, being transported, remains undetermined. The physics of his injuries suggest velocities exceeding what human locomotion alone could generate. Either he encountered a vehicle, fell from one, or was subjected to forces through other means. Each theory carries its own problems, its own gaps in logic that investigators cannot reconcile. The Oklahoma Highway Patrol's initial assumption of hit and run followed logical precedent. Rural highways claim pedestrians regularly, especially intoxicated ones wandering in the darkness, but the scene's sterility troubled investigators from the very beginning. Modern vehicles contained hundreds of frangible components designed to brake on impact, absorbing energy and protecting occupants. Even low-speed impacts typically shed evidence. Lens fragments, trim pieces, undercarriage components. The Highway 81 crime scene yielded nothing, not even the microscopic paint chips that travel in virtually every vehicle-pedestrian collision. The investigation's pivot from accident to potential homicide occurred gradually, as each avenue of investigation revealed new inconsistencies. The FBI's involvement, though limited to monitoring, signaled federal awareness of possible civil rights violations. The Oklahoma State Bureau of Investigation's classification as suspicious death acknowledged the scene's inconsistencies without committing to criminal causation.
Presgrove's family says investigators previously told them it didn't look like Noah had been hit by a car. And for Chadwick, it's still all a lot of emotions, with very few answers.
The cycle of grief is continuing and it doesn't stop.
By early 2024, the case existed in investigative limbo, too ambiguous for murder charges, too suspicious for closure. The civil lawsuit filed in June of 2025 represents the family's attempt to pierce the silence through legal compulsion, naming 7 party attendees, including Jack Newton. The complaint alleges conspiracy to conceal homicide. The defendant's responses invoke assumption of risk. The legal doctrine holds that voluntary intoxication and participation in dangerous activities absolves others of liability. Caleb Newton's response particularly stings the family, describing Noah's death as an unavoidable accident, causality, and misfortune, while simultaneously denying any involvement or knowledge of what occurred. The psychological dynamics of small-town information suppression operate through multiple mechanisms. Fear of retaliation, loyalty bonds, and diffusion of responsibility create what researchers term conspiracy of silence. In communities under a population of 2,000, social interconnection means revealing information risks, not just legal consequences, but social exile. Families intermarry across generations. Business relationships depend on community standing. Children grow up together from kindergarten through high school graduation. Breaking ranks means losing everything. Job prospects, social connections, even physical safety in extreme cases. The Speak Up campaign represents the family's attempt to overcome these pressures through moral appeal and financial incentive. with the $16,000 reward that was announced in October of 2024. The forensic possibilities remain multiple and non-exclusive, each carrying its own supporting evidence and contradictions. Vehicle strike theory: Noah walking intoxicated on Highway 81, struck by a vehicle whose driver either didn't realize the impact occurred, unlikely given the severity of injuries, or fled without reporting. The theory explains the location and force of injuries, but cannot account for the absence of vehicle evidence. The staged body dump theory: Noah was killed elsewhere, possibly at the party or shortly after leaving, then transported, positioned to simulate a highway accident. This would explain the staging indicators: clothing separation and minimal blood at the scene, but it requires a conspiracy of silence among multiple individuals, and no witnesses has broken ranks despite pressure and rewards.
Ashley, it was an eye-opening experience speaking to the family of Noah Presgrove. We went into great detail about the autopsy report that's now in their hands, what they think happened to Noah, and the frustration they feel from not getting direct answers from his friends.
Transport would leave evidence: fiber transfers, soil from the original scene, witnesses to vehicle movement, none of which has materialized. The fall from a vehicle theory: Noah obtained a ride from the party, then fell or was pushed from a moving vehicle, explaining both his injuries and location. This theory accounts for the injury pattern consistent with high-speed road contact and explains how he traveled from party to highway, yet no driver has been identified. And the fact that his shoes remained on his feet seems inconsistent with the violence of such a scenario. Falls from vehicles typically result in a trail of evidence: blood patterns showing direction of travel, clothing torn in specific patterns, injuries concentrated on one side of the body. And then there's the assault theory: Noah was possibly beaten at or near the recovery site, with the highway location chosen to mislead investigators. The focused trauma and absence of defensive wounds could suggest a surprise attack or multiple attackers overwhelming him quickly, but no weapon has been recovered. The injuries suggest forces beyond what human hands alone could typically generate, and the location offers no concealment for such an assault. Dr. Banjari's observations: these are the cases that are gray, captures the investigation's fundamental challenge. Unlike clear homicides with bullet trajectories or knife wounds that tell their own stories, Noah's death exists in forensic ambiguity. The truth lies not in the physical evidence alone, but in the testimony of those present during the critical window. Someone knows what happened between 3:30 and 5:43 a.m., but that knowledge remains locked away behind fear, loyalty, or guilt. The community impact extends beyond investigation metrics. Comanche, Duncan, and Terrell now investigate what sociologists term collective trauma. The shared wound of unresolved violence, former friendships fracture along accusation lines, parents of party attendees face ostracism at grocery stores and gas stations. The convenience store named in the lawsuit confronts both legal liability and community anger for allegedly selling alcohol to minors. The social fabric, already strained by rural economic decline and methamphetamine infiltration, tears further with each passing month without resolution. The banner on Highway 81 reads, "You know what happened to me, so why don't you help me?" This functions as both a plea and an accusation. Its placement forces daily confrontation with communal failure. What psychologists term the moral injury. The knowledge that someone knows while a family suffers creates collective shame. He becomes every parent's worst fear when their child leaves for a party. Every community's failure to protect its young from themselves and each other. Noah's death remains Oklahoma's most troubling unsolved case, not because of its violence. The state sees plenty of that, but because of its ambiguity. Every theory contains flaws. Every witness account conflicts with each other. Every piece of evidence supports multiple interpretations. The only certainty is that somewhere out there, someone knows what happened. The white line on Highway 81 continues its division of Oklahoma Prairie, indifferent to the tragedy it hosted. The cross marking Noah's death site weathers through the seasons, replaced when the wind and rain destroy it. The family maintains their vigil, and they deserve answers. So what do you think happened to Noah Presgrove? Please leave your comments below. As always, stay kind, be vigilant, and always question the truth. I'll catch you in the next video.